Namaste. We have all heard this word, a helping hand. What does it mean? Immediately, what comes to our mind is that someone may come and ask us for money and we may not want to lend money, or someone may ask us to come and do something for them, and today we don't have the time to do anything for anybody else. So, today, when we say helping hand, there is a kind of everyone becomes a little wary that I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have energy, I don't want to do anything for anybody. This is the mindset that we see again and again today. But helping somebody does not always mean giving money. Money is not the only thing people want from us, and it is not. It goes beyond that. It goes to a level where just being with a person can make that person feel happy, and that is what that person wants probably. But today we have come to a stage where these kind of sentiments are no longer felt. We don't talk about them. Everyone has become very cautious and wary about any other person around them. But at this juncture, I'm reminded of one story which I read many years back. And this came up to me because I was discussing this with somebody recently about how nowadays people are not even willing to help a neighbor or anybody else. But then this story came up and I thought I'll share it with you today. The story is like this. There was a family, husband, wife, and a small son who was about 5 years old. And this lady used to do all the work in her house by herself, and she was busy doing her work. On that day, it so happened that in their neighbor's apartment, there was a couple, an elderly couple living there, and that elderly lady passed away. So her husband, who was even older than her, was totally devastated, and people were going to visit them to pay their condolences. So this lady was also planning to go there, but she wanted to finish her work and then go and express her condolences. So she was busy doing her work. Her husband also had already left for office, so he was not there. The child was playing in the hall, and she could hear the noises, the child playing with the toys, for something falling here, there. She was able to hear that, but she was in the kitchen doing her work. Then after some time, she suddenly realized that there was no sound coming at all from the child. And she got a little bit worried because children, at the age of 5, you always keep one ear open to track them, what they're doing in the house. So that way she suddenly found there was no sound. So she quickly stopped her work and ran into the hall and saw the toys were all lying there, but this child was not there. She was a little bit alarmed, and she went and searched in every room. The child was nowhere to be seen. And then when she went and saw the main door was slightly open. So since that door was open, she was even more alarmed, which means the child must have gone outside the apartment. So she immediately stepped out of the apartment and she started looking here and there. And two apartments beyond her house, this was the house where this death had occurred, and there were a few people standing there. They were all trying to help that elderly person probably. She was anyway planning to go there, but now she got worried that maybe her son would have gone there, seeing people standing there. He would have just stepped out of the house and must have gone there. So she went to that house. And when she went to that house, she went inside, and the coffin was there, and this elderly man was sitting there with tears in his eyes. And she was very shocked to see her little son sitting on the lap of this elderly person. She was very surprised because they were not very close friends. They were neighbors, so once in a while they used to greet each other, but she had never been to their house, they had never come to her house. So there's no way the child knew that gentleman. But somehow the child was sitting on the gentleman's lap and he was holding the child, and tears were falling from his eyes. And this child was sitting with a very solemn face. So when this lady saw that, she was absolutely shocked. And then when the child saw her, slowly he got down from the gentleman's lap and came to her. Then she paid her condolences and all that, and then took the child and came back home. After coming back home, she made the child sit and asked him, "What were you doing there? You were sitting on that gentleman's lap. What were you doing there?" And you know what the child said? The child said, "I was helping him to cry." This lady was very moved. She said, "What do you mean?" Then he said, the child said, "No, that uncle was crying. Tears were coming from his eyes, and I felt very sad. So I thought if I sit on his lap and he holds me, then maybe it's easier for him to cry. So I just went and sat on his lap, and I felt good. I felt I should do it." This is what the child said. So hearing this, it was like from a 5-year-old, it was a little too much. coming from a 5-year-old for this lady to digest. And she was, in a way, she was very proud of her son. She said how much he has understood, how he has tried to emotionally support that elderly person. And that is the story. So that means you can actually emotionally support a person, not with money or not by doing something, but just by being there for them. That is why when there is a death, we always say you can miss any other function, but if it is a death, do not miss. Go and be there. Many people say, what will I do there? I won't know what to speak. I won't know what to do. Now, this child also did not speak. This child did not do anything. But the child says, I went and sat there on his lap and helped him to cry. So that is the kind of emotional support many times people need from us. So keep that in mind. Let us not completely forget what it is to be a human, what it is to be a friend, and what it is to be an emotional support to somebody when that person is in need. So sometimes when we can lend our time, we can lend our presence to another person just to make them feel that yes, somebody is there for me. We may not be able to wipe out their tears completely. We may not be able to solve their problems completely. But just by being there for them, we can make them feel that they are not alone. And somebody is there to share their troubles or to share their grief. So this story has always been in my mind. And today I thought I will just share it with you. So keep it in mind. And sometimes if you can be of help to somebody, to be an emotional support to somebody, do not hesitate to do that, because there can always be some day when we need a support like that. So whenever we can give it to somebody, we should never hesitate, and we should lend that helping hand without thinking twice. Think about it.